Welcome back to Tales of Symphonia. We've still got a few more side quests to do.
Side quest part.
I mean, we don't have to do these right now, but if I wait until later,
You're gonna
then
forget.
it's gonna add more parts anyway. So I may as well get it out of the way.
I was gonna say if I don't do them now, I'm gonna forget later.
Well, because there's also going to be a couple more towards the end of the game anyway, and that's just going to add more to it. So I either do these now and do 4 side quests before the end of the game, or I go to the end of the game now and have 8 or 9 side quests to do right before the final boss. So
Back in Altamira. Orson!
So we finally get to see Persea again, and she still has the Klonoa outfit because it's the best costume she has in the entire game.
Orson! Well...
God damn it. I wonder if that pun was there in the Japanese version or if they just changed it for the English version.
No. They may have changed a lot.
I don't know how localization works over in Namco.
I mean, I don't think any of us do.
I don't know. On the subject of that, I did see a weird video the other day about apparently Namco stole this franchise from a different author or something. Like, long story short, Tales of Fantasia was originally a book that someone was looking for a publisher for because nobody would publish the damn book. So it got to the point where he's just like, you know what, fuck it, I'll find somebody to take it. So Namco decided to take it and said, we'll use the story and we'll make it into a video game if no one's going to make it into a book. So the guy's just like, okay, sure, here's all the original drawings for the characters that I want to use. And then apparently Namco just decided to go, fuck it, and started changing everything because that's what higher-ups tend to do. They take existing properties and then they change it around because they bring it to other editors. And long story short, apparently Tales of Fantasia became a completely different story that was originally intended.
Damn.
So if you remember when we did Fantasia, it said it was produced by Wolf Team. That team actually branched off of Namco before they became Namco Bandai, and that group actually ended up becoming Tri-Ace.
Bandai Namco, but okay.
Well, this was before Bandai merged with Namco.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So there was the normal branch of Namco. This is why we got games like Star Ocean. And that's also why when you look back on Star Ocean, there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of similarities between Star Ocean and Tales of.
Star Ocean is also a Square property. I should mention.
Yeah, it's because Wolf Team got it published by Square. So.
You still onto those boulders?
But.
Oh, you're good. Oh, you're okay. Cool.
Anyway, so the ironic thing is that the Tales franchise became something entirely different, and now it's this. So take that for what you will. Also, apparently, Raine is dying.
I fell over and got a flu.
There's a vicious virus going around that only affects this one person at this particular time.
You just look at Mythos as like shifty eyes.
What? Like it only affects half elves, and looks at Mythos and Genis. What?
You look at Mythos, he has like half a gas mask in his pocket.
Like what? Oh, I'm sorry. Like, oh, I'm sorry, female half elves. Well, great, great. Not only is it racist, it's sexist too. God damn it.
Let's split up, gang.
Yeah, this whole side quest makes no goddamn sense.
By the way, they would use that same formation in Dawn of the New World for literally no reason other than to reference the scene.
I'm sorry, what?
In Dawn of the New World, they used this exact same split-up formation. The exact same one.
I don't even remember that part.
When Sheena joined the party, it was at the same time Regal was in the party. When Zelos joined the party, it was at the same time Persea and Colette were in the party.
Look, we've been over this. We've been over this. Namco reuses assets all the time. Just because it's more blatant in one game doesn't excuse it in the other games that they do it in.
I'm just saying. It's the exact same
I understand
formation.
that. I'm just saying, just because it's more prominent in one specific game doesn't excuse the fact that they do it all the time anyway, so why does it bother you in that particular game?
Because it's the exact same formation. There's a pattern. That's a problem.
Yeah.
It makes makes people question things.
Final Fantasy X-2 reuses assets from 10 all the time, and everyone seems to be okay with that game.
Not.
I said okay, I didn't say they liked it.
Keep tabs on them, for God's sake.
Yes. As far as I know, if you say the first option, this entire side quest just kind of stops.
Why would you?
I've never said the other option.
I never either.
Regardless, both options make Lloyd look out to be a total dick.
No, he's not.
No, regardless of the choice you make, everyone ends up thinking that Lloyd's a total dick. You'll see why at the end of this.
I know.
Also, how did we get from Altessa's house to Fuji Mountains this goddamn fast? And what the hell kind of aim was that, Genis? For fuck's sake. Bullshit! His fireball's home in on the nearest target. There is no excuse for him to miss that.
I like to imagine if we went alone and that happened, Mythos was like, hey, what's over there? Just blow it up. He's not looking.
I remember in your part, I remember when you did this in your playthrough, the entire time you just had that picture of, you just put that picture of Fry's not sure if serious face on top of Lloyd the entire goddamn time. Like making him out to be an incredibly creepy stalker.
That was part of a joke, actually.
I know it was a joke, but it was hilarious.
He's just being a good friend. He's not actually stalking him.
I know. It's like, it's Genis. He's probably gonna get himself hurt. He's not as clumsy as Colette, but he's still like a 13-year-old kid.
He's still a kid.
He's probably gonna get himself hurt.
He's still a kid.
Like, but you're a kid too. Yeah, but I'm slightly older than both of you.
Fuck you, you're not. Fuck you, you are.
Canonly, he's like 3 years older than Genis and 2 years older than Colette, so
This is basically Genis saying, if we got into a fight, whose side would you want? I don't know.
It's foreshadowing. Way too goddamn early for that.
I imagine Genis sitting there like, I don't know.
Like, well, I've known Lloyd my entire life. I mean, he's an idiot, but I've known you for like a month, so I don't know. Why are you making me choose, Mythos? What's wrong with you?
Don't slap him.
I mean, that's kind of what Genis is saying without actually saying it. Like, dude, I want to be friends with you, but we've known each other for 2 months, and you're wondering if I like you more than my best friend that I've known for years. What's wrong?
In the back of Mythos' mind is like, good, let the hate flow through you. like Darth Sidious.
Mythos, I've been meaning to ask, is there
he's like freaking Darth Sidious.
He's like, Mythos, I've been meaning to ask, why do you look exactly like Colette if she was a boy? I don't know. I've been thinking that the entire time I've known her too. That's weird, right? It's almost like Namco took her model and gave her short hair, and then put green instead of blue.
I don't know how this works, and also, why am I wearing green and she's wearing blue? It doesn't make any sense. These colors clash.
She also has black pants and I have green pants. It's weird. So yeah, now everyone's mad at Lloyd because he left to make sure that Genis was okay rather than stay and wait for Raine to wake up.
I wonder what I wonder who the love interest is. Shifty eyes.
Well, I mean, there's like 4 different people. Like, that's another thing too. That's like the last little thing I'll bring up about Dawn is that you can make Lloyd's relationship really, really creepy.
Yes, it can.
I mean, to be fair, it's no less creepy if you do it in this version, but the way they do it in Dawn is just even worse.
There's only one.
Like,
there's only one conversation. There's only one conversation in Dawn that I actually legitimately enjoy, and that's the one with Zelos, because it makes no goddamn sense, but it's funny.
It's like I was worried that they were gonna like not that I have anything against it, but I'm worried that it's gonna be like, wait, is Lloyd gonna be gay for Zelos, even though he's only known him for like half a year in the first game?
It's more like a bromance thing.
I know it's a bromance thing, but the way they make him word it is just like, oh my god, what?
Zelos has a tendency to phrase things weird.
I know. That's why I said, like, I have no disrespect for it. It's just really awkward.
It's only awkward if you have a bad brain.
I know.
But we're all bad brains here.
Even when logic's not here, it's seeped into us. God damn it. Anyway, so you get the friend title for doing that properly. It's okay if you want to make Genis a tank, but he's a mage, so it's not really it doesn't really help much.
Friend.
So yeah, we're done with that now. Mythos, you can hang out with Altessa and Tabitha. You'll be fine.
I don't want it.
Well, we don't have a 5th Rayard.
This makes no sense.
Yeah, this literally comes out of nowhere, and at least when they bring this up in Dawn, it makes more sense because Lloyd's the one that brings it up. This time, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, Colette just is like, are you just like Zelos and you like every girl, not just one? Like, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. It's like game beating you over the head with a hammer kind of thing. God damn it.
This doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's like... And then Zelos is like, wait, what the hell?
He's like, I'm standing right here.
It's like, that is the one time it was just like...
What?
I get why they do it. Like, the game has to have its fan service point.
But it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense with her.
And it's like it's a literal throwaway gag, being that it's in a skit, and it's like there has never been a time in this. Also, Exire is really fucking obnoxious to land on. Just saying.
Yeah. By the way, this is
Exire. The thing about Exire though that's kind of weird is that it doesn't. It's hard to sit. It's hard to notice, but it does move a little bit, so it's not always in the same spot every time. I guess that's why I was having trouble landing on it.
I think. You do it. What were you talking about earlier?
Oh, what I was saying is like that one skit seems like Namco just felt like we need to put in that one fan servicey skit.
It doesn't. Yeah, but when you do it
of like Lloyd has to be a playboy because he's got like 4 because you have like 4 women in your party, and by women I mean 3 women and one 16-year-old.
But with Colette, it just does not make any sense for her to react that way.
Yeah, and it's never, and there's never been any hints at all. If anything, it's the exact opposite of the game beating you over the head of, hey, Colette loves Lloyd, and Lloyd obviously loves Colette, so why would he purposely go like, yeah, I really, really like hot girls, when he clearly is in love with this other girl that he's been best friends with for like 10 years. It's like, it makes no sense.
It would have been better if his facial features were being shown that he didn't actually understand her question.
What I think should have happened was he should have been having that conversation with Zelos, and Zelos could have twisted his words to make Colette think that's what he said. Because they've done that before.
No, I was saying that maybe he didn't understand the question.
that's possible. I'm just saying I think it would have come off less awkward if the conversation was between him and Zelos rather than Colette just bringing it up out of goddamn nowhere.
Yeah, because honestly, that skit is just way out of character for her.
That, or at least give you the option to choose yes or no, rather than her just jumping to conclusions like that. But anyway, we've ragged on that scene for a little bit too long.
Who cares? This road. I don't know.
Anyway, so this is
What's in this
Exire.
door?
You don't have to come here, actually. You can go through the entire game and not even know this place exists.
Yeah.
But you do need it in order to... there is one optional summon that the game does... Like, the game tells you about it, but they don't fully explain where he is. And I'll just say now, because it's going to be a while before we can do it, this is where we find the final summon spirit. But because he's an optional summon spirit, you don't necessarily
There it
have to
is.
find him here.
There's your hint.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, they do offhand mention Maxwell exists, but they don't say where you find him.
I gotta.
That's literally the only time in the game that they mention Maxwell too, so I don't know how you're supposed to find out where he is.
I'm gonna be that guy. Playing Tales of the Rays and then going back to this is actually kind of funny.
Oh god.
Because if people don't know Tales of the Rays, it's the Tales mobile game, and they have these fighting of the spirit events, which are basically an excuse to fight the summon spirits, right?
Right.
Well, in Tales of the Rays, they decided to base them all on across to the franchise. Like Ifrit's based on how he is in Xillia, I believe.
Huh.
And yet that design is used for the Fantasia version of Summon Spirits. So it's like, what? What the fuck?
Well, the Fantasia version is super outdated, so they would have had to upgrade that sprite massively.
Yeah, and and Gnome is
Unless they're going with the PlayStation version.
and
Anyway.
Gnome is just Doug Trio.
Yeah, that's the Fantasia gnome,
Yeah.
where he's literally a pile of missiles.
Right, and I was saying that Tales of the Rays still does the Ifrit version of the dungeon. You're still going through a volcano. It's just you're not constantly being hurt by the environment.
Thank God.
But what I find funny is that one of those is actually based on. I think one of them's. All of these fighting of the spirit ones, they all involve Mila from Tales of Xillia.
That
Every
makes
single
sense.
one of them, including the ones that take place in completely different games.
I mean, it makes sense. She's supposed to be the reincarnation of Maxwell, so...
And I think
spoilers for anyone that hasn't played Xillia 1 and 2 yet.
Well, she says it right at the beginning of the game, so that's not really a
I
spoiler.
know.
Anyway, I was trying to say is that the running gag is that Mila has no idea how the summon spirits work across the entire in
multiple
in
universes.
multiple universes. Yeah, so she's like, how's this work? Show me how it works. And that so they basically have to redo the summon spirit trial from specific games in order to show how it works to Mila.
That makes sense.
Only downside is you're kind of doing it at the time where they're trying to do the trial for real. So shit.
Shit.
By the way, looking back on Tales of the Rays, RJ's fucking tall. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, I mean, the problem that's another problem is, like, if you look at the sprite work for Fantasia, everyone's sprites are chibified, similar to Symphonia, except not cel shaded.
Yeah, everybody's like the
So
same.
when you look at the
everybody's
official
like
artwork for Fantasia and everyone looks normal, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, some characters did not look well in a more with accurate proportions. Let me just say that.
That's why the first time I saw Klaus's sprite in the PlayStation version. I'm just like, wow, he looks drastically different than he does. Like, and they keep using that version of him. They never use the sprite from the Super Nintendo version, which I think actually looks better than all the other ones that they gave him. That's just me, though.
I will say this though.
You'd best avoid that
Oh
place.
shit. Voice work.
All right, this is one of the few times where a side quest is actually voiced.
Which is fucking stupid! Don't do that!
Well,
Mother is in this
well, I
house.
guess they find Raine's backstory to be slightly more important than other
Don't
characters.
do that!
And again, I think this is the reason why the GameCube version is on 2 discs, because they
Who's there?
do have voices. They do have voiced scenes, and
No, you don't
It takes up
fucking
all the
do
space.
that! I hate that shit!
Oh,
at least at least this is important in terms of backstory for like 2 of the 4 main
But
characters.
it's easily missable. That's the problem
See?
I have.
she has such an intelligent-looking.
Oh,
face.
that is very true. Like we said before, you can go
Her
the
name
entire
is
game and not
Raine.
even know.
Yeah,
the
that,
backstory
like
of
I
the
said,
thing.
this is why I hate that shit. If you're gonna do shit like this, make it relevant to the plot, not a side quest. It's stupid.
It's
I ranted about it so much, and
pseudo relevant.
I ranted about it in Dawn. I'm gonna rant about it here. Just because this is a nostalgic game does not give it leeway for this shit.
If it's a boy, it's Gina.
It's pseudo relevant if you want
do you think?
backstory for Raine and
That's a lovely
Genis,
name.
I guess.
It's yeah. Don't make it a side quest though.
Then,
For fuck's sake.
You Virginia?
yes, that's
Are you?
right.
It's hey. Are
How'd
you?
you know?
Are you Virginia? Not the state of Virginia, dude. Wrong Virginia. Just dope slap point.
Professor Sage.
Stop this!
Also, since this is such an important thing for Raine and Genis, shouldn't the rest of the party be here too? Like at least Colette.
Shh, quiet.
Why are you being so nice like that? You wake Raine.
I will say though that this is probably the, at least for me anyway,
Doll.
this is one of the harder scenes to watch because it's actually like the one time where
What are you talking about?
I think this is like literally the one time that the emotion actually feels like it goes through, and I think that's just because Raine's voice actress is actually really good.
Yep.
Nothing against Genis' voice actor, but like that, I'll call back to like that scene where Marble dies. Like, could have been done so much better.
Yep. I actually have her voice actress's autograph.
Have gone now.
Oh, that's right. You met her at Otakon. I forgot about
Yes,
that.
I do. Yes, I did. And she
I'm
remembers.
surprised
And
she even
remembers her
remembers
role.
that she voiced
Yeah,
Raine.
and she remembers her role very well.
I'd say that, and then when I look on her Twitter
First she
profile,
abandons her children,
on her
and then
Twitter
she
header,
abandons the
she's
memory
got
of doing so.
images of all the characters she's voiced, and Raine is like smack dab in the middle
Yeah.
of that. So obviously she remembers that she voiced
Very
Raine.
much so. Yes, she's also one of the few returning voice
So,
actresses
you met
for Dawn.
Virginia.
Yeah,
Why is she here?
which took me a little bit to figure out, only because
Several
like
years ago, I
it
found
has
a
been like
husband
4
and
years.
wife
It had been
couples
like 2.5 years,
in
so
the
obviously her
forest.
voice changed a little bit.
From my
But
understanding, she actually
It was
really liked
Virginia
voicing
and her
Raine.
husband, Cloyce.
yeah, and I think
Father.
I think the voice actress for Colette liked it too. That's why she came
Yeah,
back.
Heather Hogan.
To investigate the
Heather Hogan, yeah.
village.
Who is also Forum, by the way, which I didn't
He fell in
realize,
love with Virginia
despite the fact that
and
I've been
remained
playing
behind
Feedorm.
on
a lot of Fire Emblem Heroes.
I call her Feedorm.
But a
It's
half-elf
easier.
that lived in the village tried to
I don't know
sell
the
out
actual
our
pronunciation.
Well, the
though.
J is silent, so it's Forum.
I don't
But
know the actual pronunciation. I apologize.
I think it's pronounced Forum. I'm pretty sure the J is silent.
Oh, well. It's not-
But then I also got her in Dragalia Lost, and she's also voiced by Heather Hogan in that game. If you have the English dub on.
The funny part is the form you hear in Heroes and the form you hear in Dragalia Lost sounds so different.
I know the one in the Forum in Dragalia Lost sound is just flat out Colette.
Yep.
Like, if you're playing it in English, it's just Colette's voice.
Yep.
But if you play her in Fire Emblem, you can kind of hear the Colette in her voice, but not nearly as blatant as in Dragalia, which is kind of weird.
I don't care, I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it too. I didn't notice it as
She's
like.
unbelievably selfish.
The point is, I
She
didn't notice it
tosses
right
us aside
away
on a whim,
in Fire
and then
Emblem, but I
forgets us.
noticed it immediately when I heard her in Dragalia. So,
She
Yeah.
goes off into her own little world of dreams.
I think
which
that
is also weird because I prefer listening to the voices in
Even so,
Dragalia in Japanese,
Virginia
but that's
was
just me.
worried about you too.
I think what I speaking of Dragalia
In
Lost,
the
I think what I liked
legendary
about
land of Silverrock,
Fjorn in that
surely
game is that
half-elves
her
will
animations
refrain
are
from display.
greatly exaggerated.
Oh yeah,
Like-
she's like a completely different. Form is a completely different character in Dragalia than she is in Fire Emblem Heroes.
Like her like, I think it was like her icicle what was it? Her icicle explosion is just literally her headbutting the ground.
Yeah.
It's like the meat. It's like think of it like the Mii Fighter headbutt in Smash, but like it explodes in like a gigantic rock of ice when you upon hitting it floor. It's actually kind of funny.
I mean, it's almost like Form actually shows emotion in Dragalia, rather than being a stoic non-character that she is in
I
Heroes.
mean, like everyone in Heroes.
At least Alphonse emotes.
Yeah, he's the main character. Of course, he emotes.
Do you want
I'm just saying, and Forum is supposed to be like the third, and Forum is like the secondary main
No,
character.
she's not.
This is
Kind of.
She's not.
She's supposed to be relevant to the plot, whatever the plot in that game actually is. I don't actually pay attention to it because it's a mobile game, and the
I
plot
think
makes no
she's
fucking
dropped.
sense.
I think she's dropped, but I
Raine
think she's actually
and
dropped by
Please
when
forgive
book
your
3
powerless
starts.
mother. Surely even the imperial
That would explain
research
so much.
Yeah,
cannot
they don't.
follow you to Silver.
Yeah, if you complete book 2, I think
This must be a better
they
choice
give a
than to
reason
spend
why
your
she's
life
not in the
in
plot anymore in book
damp,
2.
filthy
She doesn't
dungeon
die.
as a
I know that
slave.
much.
No, but it's like
Please.
even when I was
Make your
playing
way to freedom.
the game from the start, I never used Forum in my party at all.
What did she mean?
I think she's. If I open it now, I think she's still like level 1 because I never used her once.
I maxed her out.
Talented.
I mean, I can max her out. I just gotta dump her full of crystals and she'll get maxed out in 2 seconds.
Like, no joke. She's literally
That's why we couldn't
she's
settle
literally a
down
blue
anywhere and
tank.
had to keep traveling.
She counters everything.
Eventually,
I have
you
so many
proceed
blue
all the
units
way
that I
to
don't
the
really
other
need
world
Forum
of
anymore.
No, she can't. The form counters everything, regardless of distance.
Yeah, fair enough.
Man.
She didn't abandon us because we were in the way or that she hated us.
Okay,
or
so we
anything.
talked completely over this whole
Don't
thing,
care.
which I apologize for.
I
But
don't care.
but basically,
This is great news.
to summarize it,
This time,
they used to live in
Ray,
Raine's
this
parents
is
used
great
to live in
news. Our mom
Heimdall.
forgot us because
thank you.
our mom forgot us because she got Alzheimer's.
No, don't make this darker than it already
All right,
is.
fine, jeez.
Long story short, they used to live in Heimdall. Then somebody ratted them out to the Desians, and they got ostracized. Raine's father got murdered, and Raine's mother managed to escape, but the whole incident traumatized her, and she went insane. So that's why she lives in that house by herself, and she's like crazy,
I
thinking that
go ahead. Thinking that doll is her kids. Yeah.
like I said, I know we talked over it, but it can be summarized in one paragraph. So
I think the OVA kind of teases that because there are shots. There are actually artwork shots of that moment in the official Tales art book.
So they were probably planning on there being a flashback scene, but it got cut.
More than likely, because there are, like I said, there is artwork detailing that part in particular.
That explains a lot.
I'll send it to
I mean-
you. I'll send it to you in post so you can put it up on the screen.
All right. I mean, basically, that summarizes why Raine is the way she is.
There's actually a lot of stuff. There's actually a lot of stuff in the art book that was cut from the OVA. That's in the art book. It's actually kind of neat looking at the back how the creation of the OVA and what was cut, what was left in.
I mean, when you're only given budget for 40-minute episodes, there's only so much you can show.
4?
Well, 4 per season, I should say.
4?
They could have spent an entire episode in the OVA talking more about Raine's family, but they decided not to.
Yeah, but that there is evidence that it does exist.
Yet Zelos and Regal get an entire episode dedicated to them, but that's another story.
They have an entire fight scene dedicated to themselves, which is weird.
Yeah. Gee, it's almost like Zelos is the third most popular character in the game.
Third.
And they waste no time showing that off every time they bring up the freaking popularity poll on that thing.
Third, you're being generous.
Okay, no, he's top. He's top.
Yeah, I was gonna say. What's wrong with you?
When I said third, I was referring to Regal. I think Regal's is third or something weird like that.
Kratos the third, actually.
Regal's like third or fourth. That's why that episode was heavily based on just Regal and Zelos.
Kratos was third, actually.
Anyway, the only reason you want to go to Exire is if you want to see that scene to get more backstory on Raine and Genis.
Which is it's stupid of them to make it optional.
They at least hint towards it.
No, it's stupid. It's stupid. Ugh.
It is. I'm just saying it. At least they hint towards it throughout the entire game and don't just dump exposition on you at the last minute if you choose to go there.
I kind of did anyway, but okay.
Anyway, we'll see you guys for the next part.
Stop making that shit optional, please. I beg of you.